Coming up next on the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast.
Well, then we can't play the game. And so that's what it's about. Don't be disrespectful, but also just stand firm, okay? Like, this may happen, and that tells you that that was not an ideal client.
From your first dollar to your first million, welcome to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast, presented by ZenMade. Join your host, Stephanie Pipkin, founder of Serene Clean, as she shares proven tips, tricks, and hard-earned lessons. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, get ready to discover how to build your own cleaning empire. Let's roll up our sleeves and dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast. I am your host, Stephanie from Serene Clean, and in today's episode, I want to talk about the topic of danger zones for clients dropping in our cleaning businesses. And this topic is inspired by a fantastic conversation I had with one of you, Chelsea, last week. And she is just in the process of getting staff members in place. And she was very, very concerned about, losing clients when she switched from her cleaning to a new hire cleaning. And we talked about it, and the new hire is doing great. She gave me an update. So Chelsea, great job on biting the bullet and giving your new cleaner some faith to test it out, right? But what our conversation actually triggered in me of like, gosh, there is a lot of danger zones where clients are most likely to drop that I have seen. I have experienced nearly all of these causing me to lose residential clients. And some of these definitely apply for commercial as well. And so I want to share with you guys these danger zones so that you can think about this and you can hopefully prevent and mitigate as much as possible. Now, some of these, there's only so much that you can do, but really for the most part, all of these, we can take action. And a lot of it just comes down to communication, of course, and really keeping a finger on the pulse of your business. So without further ado, let's talk about these danger zones. So the first one that is most likely to occur, I believe, is switching between cleaners. So when you have one cleaning tech on a client and you have to, for whatever reason, switch to another one, that is a very, very primo spot for you to lose clients because they were very attached or enamored with their current cleaner. That cleaner leaves, you have to fire them, their schedule changes, whatever. For whatever reason, you need to change the cleaning tech that goes to that house. And especially if you do not have very standardized expectations in place, or your cleaners are doing a lot of little extras and little special somethings, but they're not communicating those things to you or putting them in the notes, this is where it makes it really hard for a new person to come in, even if that new person is great, and do the same job that the old cleaner was doing. And a lot of times it's not even like necessarily quality. It's just how they behave in the home, or, they always, the little stuffed animal arrangements, or they know that the client likes XYZ just so. But again, that's never been communicated to you. And this is why the biggest thing that we can do to prevent this particular drop, there's really three things, right? You need to have standardized cleaning checklists that your client or your cleaners are following, even if they don't leave them behind. We do all of the same tasks, because I have had it where cleaners were basically what they thought went above and beyond, but we're doing tasks that we do not do. For example, I had cleaners, climbing on top of countertops and cleaning the tops of cabinets. Of course, huge no-no for insurance policy, and we don't climb on top of furniture. But now all of a sudden that is going to, and that cleaner, I think, was doing it on purpose, so she would stand out. And I can understand that sentiment. However, one, we don't do that. Two, what that does then is when you do things like that are totally outside of your typical scope of work, and then you're not noting it, meaning your cleaner isn't letting you know that that's happening, and then somebody new comes in and they do the correct scope of work, all of a sudden there is a difference here. And it's not the new person's fault, right? So that is why it's so important that we're communicating to our cleaners. They must follow these standard things. And of course, there can be little specials and, putting your personality into it. But if all of a sudden often they are, deep cleaning the garage every single time and you don't know that. And then the new person comes in. Well, of course they're going to be disappointed because all of a sudden there's a huge discrepancy in what types of tasks are getting accomplished. So just making sure we're communicating effectively with our cleaners that they are to do this. And there is a difference between, personal touches and doing like outlandish tasks or anything that is completely outside of our typical scope of work, right? And if they are doing anything, it's good to put those types of notes in there. Additionally, if a client communicates that they're particular about something to a cleaner, make sure you bring that up on a regular basis to remind your cleaners like, hey, if your client likes anything special or whatever, put that into the client notes in ZenMaid so that anybody who fills in for you can be successful. And I really bring it back to the team when I'm talking about this of like, all right, guys, we are a team. We are getting all of these cleanings done. Even if we're working individually, like we are collectively tackling this load of work, right? And so when one of us is sick and another person has to fill in, like every single person on the team has had to do, we want to set our team up for success. We want to give them the layup or whatever other sports terminology we can use here. I'm not a sports girly, but we want to pass them the ball so that they can slam dunk it in, right? And so that means really great extensive notes on what that client's like. What are the pets' names? All of these little details, just so that new person feels more comfortable and is able to accomplish the same level of cleaning. Because a lot of times it's not necessarily quality, it's those little things that stand out to clients the most. And they're already being typically hypercritical because there's a new person in the house and they were used to somebody else, right? So the second thing that we really want to do, third, I don't know, whatever to prevent this is we need to be checking in pretty much immediately after that first cleaning with the new cleaner. So you have to send a new cleaner. You are either quality checking in person on that cleaning, that first cleaning that they're on, and or that you are reaching out to the client and saying, hey, is there anything different that happened that we need to take note? We just want to make sure that this transition is as seamless as possible, because at the end of the day, like all your staff are going to leave eventually, right? Whether through leaving or death. So like we need to be prepared for that. So we know that this is going to happen. And because we know it's going to happen, that means we can plan for it and we can put things in place. So just really checking in with and just being blunt with the client, like, hey, I know you have a new tech. I just want to make sure everything was great on this first one. And even the second one, if they are a newer staff member, it's not a bad idea to be doing those check-ins at that danger zone of losing them. So that would be something, and especially if you are having to switch cleaners a lot on a client, I mean, you need to be kissing their ass and making sure that it's perfect, because if you're changing cleaners a lot, they're going to get super frustrated, which is kind of a secondary note. But just in general, switching between cleaners is going to be one of the biggest reasons somebody is going to drop. So this comes down to standardization, this comes down to communication, and it comes down to quality control, right? So if we can do those things, one, that's good for business, that's good for our systems and our processes and our scaling, but it's good for this very specific scenario as well. This kind of ties into number two, which is what Chelsea brought up to me of, like I have been cleaning and now I am bringing somebody in to my business for the first time, and I am so nervous to be giving them my clients, and I'm so nervous about the quality and all of that. And what Chelsea and I talked about, of course, was, again, coming back to like a very standardized, extensive list of tasks, because that sets your cleaner up for success. Because it's really hard as a newbie coming in and I say, go clean this and let me show you, but you don't have something to reference when I'm gone, right? Because if all of a sudden I'm gone, like you're relying on their memory too much. You need to hit that security blanket is the checklist. It's the cornerstone. So even if they don't leave it behind, which I strongly recommend that they're at least filling it out so that they're practicing that and getting the full checklist left behind, then it's all right, because at least they're still practicing it. Though I am a big proponent of filling out checklists for accountability or using the digital checklist feature in ZenMaid. Side note, Serene Clean's actual cleaning checklist, they're in there as a template. So you guys can see exactly what we use if you are a ZenMaid user. And so the other thing I told Chelsea is exactly what we do when we're switching between cleaners and we have notice. What I mean by that is, say a cleaner puts in their notice and we are going to be putting a new cleaner on and we have time. What we're going to do is we're going to send the new cleaner with the old cleaner so they can show them the ropes, ideally twice in that home, but minimum once if we can get away with it. Quick break. If you run a cleaning business, this is for you. The Maid Summit 2025 is the go-to virtual event to elevate your systems, grow your team, and finally get out of the day-to-day. 20 plus speakers, real results, and absolutely zero cost to you. Register today at maidsummit.com. Remember, it's free. Okay, now back to the video. So the goal is this happens a lot for us, not even with turnover. It's specifically when we need to change the schedule because somebody's availability changed. Like, hey, summertime's over. I can't work on Wednesdays anymore. So all of a sudden those Wednesday clients need to move to a different cleaner. Well, what we're going to do, let's say, we have, Haley and Jamie, two of my cleaners, right? And Jamie's like, I can't work Wednesdays anymore. But that will start in a month. Because that, when you're a rock star like Jamie, you give us notice like those types of things. And that does happen. And so what we do all of a sudden is for the next, and say she's got 2 biweekly clients on that Wednesday. And so we're going to send Haley with Jamie to those clients twice ideally. And then now they're handed off to Haley. And it's a very incredibly seamless experience for the client. They don't even notice. And a lot of times they love it because they're seeing that attention and care. Now, you can't always do this, but when it comes to you cleaning versus somebody else cleaning, say you're an owner and you are just getting into hiring, you can do what I just described, right? So I would suggest with all of your clients going at least twice to that particular home with the new cleaner, if you can manage that. At least once is the minor, but the goal is twice. And then on that first time that they clean by themselves, go quality check it. Go quality check it because I know that, your training might not be the best right now if you're just starting out. There might be a lot of gaps. You're nervous. You've never had somebody before. It's just a very nerve-wracking experience. And I remember that because I was getting fucked over by those cleaners in the beginning. They were doing nefarious shit, right? And so I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. I'm just saying, I wish I would have done more hand-holding, but I did not have the availability because I was working full-time during the day. And so I kind of had to basically what I was doing, I was checking in with the client a lot, or I would QC the house after I got done with my full-time job and just being in that communication with the clients as much as possible. But that's how you get your clients off of you. And if you make it clear, listen, I'm trying to grow my business and that means I cannot be cleaning and I am going to be hiring cleaners and they're going to get, I want you to get the same level of service. And I know we love each other and all of that good, warm, fuzzy stuff, but this is what needs to happen. And so you are just in good communication. You are utilizing standardized checklists. You are quality checking and you are doing that transitionary period. You don't just say, here you go, here's your full client list to a newbie, right? And they're going to have issues. They're a new person. So we need to be catching that and nipping it in the bud. So Chelsea actually emailed me and she said she let her cleaner clean for the first time by herself and she did fabulously. So what a win. That is awesome. So switching off of the owner is going to be one of those danger zones that I know you guys are very nervous about, but this is how we actually go about that and make it successful so we don't lose clients. Okay, the third danger zone, of course, is the most obvious one, price increases. Price increases are a very likely spot that we are going to lose clients. And frankly, I see it as kind of the goal, not necessarily losing a lot, but we're trying to, if you guys know what a controlled burn is in a forest, in forestry, they will oftentimes light the brush on fire so that new trees and plants can take root and grow and get to the sun because the brush is all in the way of everything growing and whatever. I'm not a fighter person. However, I know what a controlled burn is. And so that's kind of how I see a price increase is we have to sometimes burn away the brush, i.e. the lower paying clients. So if you do a price increase and they drop because of it, well, now we have spots for people to come in at your new higher price, right? The thing is we don't want to burn the entire world down. We want to do it by section, right? So I highly recommend if you have more than 10 clients, say you have 20 clients, right? I would do it in 2 batches or maybe even 4 batches. Do a price increase on 5 of them. See what happens. Then the next 5, then the next 5, then the next 5, right? You can stagger these so that if there is an effect of dropping, then it's not all at once, because you are going to freak the fuck out if you lose 5 clients all at once. You're going to try, I know you, okay? I know you're going to freak out. So how do we prevent this? Is we stagger the price increase. The only reason that we would do a non-staggered price increase is if you are so backed up on leads and you have a wait list a mile long. That's fine. And, or it's really not that big of a price increase, so you don't think that that's going to be a big drop. So for us, this year was the first time we ever did across the board price increase on all of our residential clients who were still at $45 an hour. We brought them up to the $50 an hour mark, and we did them all at once. And I think we only lost 4 or 5 clients, and some of them were going down in frequency. So maybe they were a biweekly client, they went to monthly. So the reason I felt confident doing it then in one fell swoop is because we had, such a staffing issue and a wait list a mile long, where I'm just we need space. We need to get as much revenue out of our current clients as possible because we can't bring any on. Okay. So I would say that you just need to be aware that most likely you are going to lose some, but it's not going to be as many as you think, depending on how big of a jump. And this is why it's nice to start out lower, so that when you do your price increases, it doesn't feel like you have to be doing big jumps. I have historically only ever done $3 to $5 per man hour on my price increases. And of course, for you guys who charge flat rate, you can do a percentage or however you want to do it. And you really just need to look at your numbers and what makes sense for you, of where your clients need to be. If you have somebody who's it turns out you're making $25 an hour. They need to literally nearly double, and you want them to drop. So because even if you bring them up reasonably, meaning to 30, that's still not enough. The opportunity cost of that client spot is too high. You're not making enough there, and you cannot pay a staff member at that rate. So that is the only instance where I'm we pretty much want them to drop, right? Unless you're, doing a heartstring clean and this is about not the finances at all, you're making an exception for this person. But if you got 10 clients at this, well, you're not making shit there anyway. So that's where we need to be okay with dropping some of them. But so mitigating price increase clients dropping is staggering it, as well as, I like to give proper notice as well. So at least 1 month, if not 2 months ahead of time, so that they can adjust to it. I know that you guys are getting really nervous about price increases, and I know that everybody has different opinions on how to go about that. I did an episode on that in the past couple of months, I believe, where I talked about I feel that it's all right to list legitimate ways that you are improving the business, or just vaguely commenting on cost of business going up, that type of stuff. We don't want to over explain, but I think it's okay to say, hey, yeah, prices go up, instead of just this is your new price. You can do that too. And I have done that in the past as well. We give a little bit more reasoning now that we have really established clients. Both can work, right? Both can absolutely work. So point being is that just communicate early enough so it's not hey, your next cleaning is at this new price, right? It just feels like you're kind of pulling the wool over them, unless it's literally in a month, then that's okay. But if it's hey, you're cleaning tomorrow, it's going to be at this new price. No, don't do that. Don't do that. They'll really be pissy with you. So that is how we deal with avoiding, or at least understanding what's about to happen if we do a price increase. So the next danger zone of clients dropping is going to be the first quarter of the year. Okay. People are broke AF. All right. They have not got their tax returns. They just overpaid for Christmas time, and everybody's depressed. So because it's cold and dark outside. So if that is the case, very likely you're going to lose some clients during that first quarter. It's typically the most slow season across the board in our industry. I will comment though, for about the first 3 to 4 years of me being in business, I saw no difference between first quarter and any other quarter other than summertime being very like super duper busy. But honestly, we didn't see a drop or anything. Now that we have a more like larger client base, I definitely see, we do see that first quarter drop every year where we lose a couple clients because they're tightening the reins on the budget. And so I just want you guys to be prepared to offer perhaps some type of budgetary clean, whether that be like, hey, could we do a partial clean? Could we go down in frequency? Just so we don't lose the client altogether. I would much rather take a biweekly client to monthly and keep them than losing them altogether. Or take an entire house clean that maybe takes 6 hours every visit. Well, can we just do the kitchen and bathrooms? Like, how can we make this work so it still makes sense for you? So those are the types of things that I would suggest if somebody came to you. I would also really suggest, because it may be the slower time, just be really attentive to your clients. Be checking in. Ask, like, is there anything else we could do better to help serve you? Like, we want to make sure that we are as high value seeming as possible and top of mind of that value. So even having your cleaners take extra time on their little note that they leave behind, or just really talking about with your cleaners, like nailing it. Because if they are looking at their budget and like, okay, what is valuable enough to keep in the finances, and all of a sudden you're being really inconsistent, having quality issues or canceling on them a lot, they're going to be like, oh, the cleaner can go, right? So we just really need to focus on being consistently high quality and just really, really professional and just checking and touching base. Like I would say right after Christmas, like really ramp up your communication with clients and having a lot of touch points so that they feel more honestly emotionally tied to you guys as well. But just making sure that the quality is there so it's not like an obvious cut for them. And of course, no matter what, like people's finances are their finances and they get to make that final decision, but they may not be aware that they could do a partial clean. They may not be aware that there's maybe a more budget friendly option for them still using your company though. So keep that in mind that this is normal at the first quarter of the year for the entire industry. However, there are things that we can do to try to like mitigate those losing clients. Okay. Next danger zone that I have lost clients on is policy changes. And this doesn't happen often, but I have had it happen with particularly snotty clients, I would say. And one comes to mind. I can picture them perfectly, and how sassy they got when we were doing an audit and realized that they had not signed client guidelines. This is before we had all of our processes in place. And they got so offended by us coming back and being like, hey, I know, you've been a client for a while, but we just realized you never signed these client guidelines. And they were so offended. They're like, we pay our bill on time. We don't have insects in our house. Like, why are you asking us to sign these guidelines that reference all of these things? And it's like, because that's the policy. Like we cannot work with you unless you sign these. And that client dropped. At us basically enforcing our policies, or really not even enforcing it, but like getting him to sign the damn thing. Like it was pretty wild to me, also considering what business this client was in. I'm not going to say any more. It was pretty ironic that they refused to sign our client guidelines, especially because there's nothing in our client guidelines that's obnoxious or over the top. It just explains what's going to happen in different scenarios, and we need to have all of our clients sign them. So that was, surprising to me to experience that. But honestly, that was like a power struggle is what that was. That person was very much trying to say, you don't tell me what to do here. I'm the boss in this scenario. And no, you're not. I'm the boss. Okay. I'm the boss in this scenario, and it's my business. And obviously we have to be respectful of our clients. We have to listen to them. But when it comes to something as simple as sign our client guidelines that you agree, like this is what we're agreeing to work together. And a lot of that is protective language for them as well. And really just spells out exactly what's going to happen in different scenarios. Like it was really shocking to me. And it gave me such a bad taste in my mouth of like, wow, you're very arrogant. You're incredibly arrogant. And this isn't about the policies at all. It's about this dynamic here. And they were very wealthy and had a beautiful home. And we have lots of wealthy clients who are the nicest people and super kind and super chill. But it was really interesting for me to experience. So when it comes to policy changes and like, how do we prevent people from dropping? Honestly, fuck that guy. Like if you're going to have that attitude, like something would have happened with him. I guarantee it would have been a bad experience down the road. So I'm not mad that they dropped at all. I think that was incredibly unreasonable. So I just want you to be aware that people might push back. And I think it's just making sure that your guidelines are clear, put them through ChatGPT. Like, do they feel fair to everybody involved? And, or even when you're enforcing a policy, that oftentimes is when people drop too. The first time you enforce your cancellation charge policy, you may have somebody drop. You might have them drop anytime you do this, because people do not like getting called out on their bad behavior. They do not like when all of a sudden you are enforcing the things that they agreed to, right? So for us, we are not psychos about cancellation policies. Like if people are sick or their kids are sick, because we want that flexibility too. It's a two-way street. Like if our cleaners are sick and we don't have anybody else to send for whatever reason, like, we're working together. We're humans. But if you are consistently canceling on us last minute for no good reason, nobody's sick, you didn't forget because you got the reminder emails and reminder text from ZenMaid automatically going out at the increments that I decide, because that's how it works when you use ZenMaid. You got the reminders, okay? You just decided it's not a good day for you to have the cleaner in. And it's like, okay, we'll let that slide maybe once. But on that second one, and I make it very clear of like, you are affecting your cleaning tech's income when you do this, and we can't get another client in that very short notice. Well, that is actually like negatively affecting somebody else's paycheck. And if they don't give a shit about that, and if they're like, I still don't want to pay, well, they're not a good client anyway, because that's just a real asshole move. And so honestly, as soon as I say like, well, this cancellation fee is to cover your cleaner's lost wages from this last minute cancellation. And again, we're only doing this in situations where it really like should be happening. And they throw a fuss, and they signed and agreed to that as well in the policies. Well, you can be a crybaby poopy pants and not be our client then. Like, it's so silly when you hold people accountable to what they agreed to, right? And they throw a tantrum. So that's what this is just expect some tantrums sometimes from full grown adults when either you have a policy change, you're putting in a new policy, or you're holding them accountable to a policy they agreed to. This can happen. And so just stand firm, be kind, be professional. You are the professional here. I'm not speaking very professionally in this episode, right? But like in this scenario, of course, we're going to be professional and just stand really firm. And I will literally send them, well, on August 12th, 2022, you signed and agreed to these. And here, I'll highlight the policy that you agreed to. Actually, like, can you help? Do you have any other confusion that I can help clear up? And just calling them out and like referencing you agreed to this oftentimes will get them to have no issues and go forward a little bit more with humility. And again, I'm not trying to put people in their place, or this isn't me trying to lord or over anybody. It's like, no, this is a mutually beneficial relationship where we're respecting each other. You as my customer, me as the service business owner. And if we can't work in the rules that we agreed to, well, then we can't play the game, right? And so that's what it's about. Don't be disrespectful, but also just stand firm. Okay. Like, this may happen. And that tells you that was not an ideal client. If they throw a big old fuss about something that's completely reasonable and completely normal if you're working with a cleaning business, not an individual cleaner, right? And even individual cleaners, please, like if you're an individual cleaner, like, and you never have a desire to have employees or anybody working for you, still do these things, right? Still have policies in place to protect you, because it's just a nightmare when you have to deal with this stuff, right? Okay. The next danger zone is going to be first clean disappointment. So I see first time cleans as like our Super Bowl, right? We need to just show up and kill it, right? We like not only from the cleaning side, but we want to show them what it's like to work with us. We want to show them our amazing communication. We want to show them our professionalism. We just want to wow them, to show like, oh, this is why it's the price it is. This is why I'm paying for this. This is why they're so highly rated. Like, we basically want to confirm all of the things that we have promised to them prior to us stepping in the house, right? It is game day and we need to show up. So if they are disappointed on that first clean, then a lot of times it really sets a bad taste in their mouth. And so there's a lot of ways to prevent first clean disappointment, or at least fix it if it does happen. And the first, again, is communicating scope of work very, very specifically. So for us, they sign our client guidelines coming in so they know what to expect with like how things are going to go. We're going to tell them, what to expect and how to prepare their house for their first cleaning. And then of course we are actually sending over the scope of work in the form of our cleaning checklist for them to review and approve. So they understand what's about to happen in their house. And then of course, you show up on time. If you are going to go over on time, we need to communicate that way early in the clean, or at least halfway through, to get more time approved. And we need to give reasons. So do not wait till the end of the clean to be like, gosh, we didn't get it done yet. Can I have more money, please? Don't do that. Okay. We don't want to do that. We want to be asking at least halfway through, or as soon as your cleaners get there and they're like, whoa, boss, this is going to take way longer, and this is why. And then we can go to that client, because even then, that's showing proper communication and that you have a system in place for dealing with this particular problem, right? And because again, we go inside unseen. So we are going off of what they report and what we are used to with our production audits on homes of similar size and reported condition, right? So if we show up and it's way different, we need to get more time approved or cut some things off of the cleaning and just work off of a particular priority list, right? So even all of this, we're managing these first cleans in a very specific way and really checking in of like, how are the cleaners doing? What's going on? Whatever. And then immediate follow-up. And also if you are in like quality control mode, first time cleans are the ones to do it, right? Or first time and really second time, that first maintenance clean is a great time to do those QCs as well. And it really shows if the client's home and you're doing QC on that first time clean, oh yeah, they're going to just be blown away. So these are how we prevent these disappointments. And then by doing that quick check-in, and if they're like, yeah, they kind of missed this, it's like, great, we can be back there tomorrow to touch up those areas once it's convenient for you. And a lot of times they'll be like, nah, just get it the next time. I just wanted you to be aware, right? And then make damn sure that we nail it the next time. So I actually don't have this on my list. That takes me into a danger zone I totally didn't think about till right now. That is like one of the biggest reasons somebody drops. Like, I can't believe I didn't think about this because it's such a big one. This is like a very likely time for a client to drop. They complain once and you're like, so sorry, we'll make sure we get it the next time. Next clean rolls around, you fuck it up again. Done. They are done. All right. Because they told you once. They already noticed it. You're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get it. And then you don't get it. Like, it's just the triple threat of like, they're going to drop. They're very likely to drop. So if you get a complaint, all right, I typically we'll literally have our cleaners take pictures of video of that particular area or task to showcase, hey, this was done to the best of our ability. We're putting it in the ZenMaid notes. Like, we literally say there was a complaint on the shower grout. Make sure the shower grout is perfect and take a picture and send it to us before you even get done with the cleaning, because we really, really want to make sure that we are getting that area up to snuff so that they are not having that same issue. And then just always having that note of like, they have had a complaint on this specific task. So it's not just the next clean, but say 2 cleans from now, and then we're screwing up the shower grout again. Like, they're going to be pissed off. So anytime a client has complained about something once, like, that should be the last time that complaint ever is possible to be had for that client on that particular task, right? It should be super duper paid attention to at every cleaning after that, and just making sure that doesn't happen. Honestly, that's like, of everything I have listed here, that is probably the number one reason somebody is going to drop, is because of that. Like, it's such a frustrating experience of like, I took the time out of my day to let you know that you screwed up. You told me you would screw up again, and you screwed it up the next time. Like, So frustrating, right? So just if you guys get a complaint on somebody, like either go quality control that house the next time to make sure it's perfect, and or be having this communication with your cleaners and having them have that proof and evidence that, hey, we paid particular attention. It's great. This is what it looks like. And I know that seems like a lot of work, but deal with it, right? If you don't want to lose a reoccurring client, I mean, that is the way to lose them and get bad word of mouth too, right? Like this is how we manage it. And this is when we are out of the field, this is our job to manage these types of things. And losing a reoccurring client is just, it sucks. Like you guys know what that means. I mean, that's thousands of dollars in a year. And depending on how big the house is or how often you're coming, like this is a lot of money that we just lost. And again, the negativity of it all, because you don't know that they're going to go tell all their neighbors that you suck, but they very well might. So it's really important. Like if we make it right and we make it right so good that they're like, wow, like they really nailed it the next time. And then we maintain it. So that's a big one, guys. So really be paying attention to that. Okay. Next danger zone is going to be changing the schedule or canceling too often on the same client. So as time goes on, every single one of your clients eventually is going to have to be rescheduled or canceled on. Like that is very likely to happen. And we, of course, in our client guidelines explain like what that looks like. And, you can always give a discount on the next cleaning for the inconvenience, and really being aware of which clients are quite flexible and which aren't, meaning like some are like, no, it needs to happen. Like if you don't come, they're going to cancel kind of thing. Like you guys know who those people are and you know which ones are really flexible. Typically the ones who cancel on us a lot or reschedule on us a lot, we know that they're willing to give that back because they're like, I do this a lot to this company. I need to be flexible as well. So we keep that in mind. However, I do want you guys to be aware of say we got 20 cleans today. Right. Okay. That's a lot for most people. We've got like 30 cleans today, but like that's a lot for a lot of companies. So let's say we have 10 cleanings today and we have 2 cleaners call out. So you are going to go clean 2 of the houses, but 2 clients still have to be either rescheduled or completely canceled on. And you're looking at, okay, this entire day of the schedule, what can I do with this? Who can I move? And we want to be very aware of who we moved the last time this happened. Like, let's say it's Tuesday and it's all the Tuesday clients that you're looking at of like, who's least likely to get pissed off basically. And what can I do with this? Right. And so we want to be really aware of the last time that we had to do this. Who did we do this to? Because, if you are having to continually reschedule on the same client, then that's not a good look. Even if they're really patient, it's going to get really frustrating on them. So for us, if it's like we have no choice, we have to cancel and or reschedule, we actually like double check on the clients that we're considering. Or honestly, we just know in our heads too, when you just know your clients and who you've had to reschedule on. We are going to be very aware of who we ask this time. And we try to kind of like rotate it, right? So that we're never asking the same client like multiple times to reschedule. Like that's just not a good look. Or like if I'm like, okay, I'm going to go clean, I'm going to make sure I clean Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Johnson's house because the last Tuesday we had to do this, it was those ladies' houses that we did this to, right? And so the only other caveat is some clients, they are like, I only want this particular cleaner. I don't care if they're sick. Do not send anybody else. Unless it's you, they might be okay with it. But if it's not possible for you to go clean or you need to be somewhere else, then those are the clients I'm like, hey, you said that you only want Tina and Tina is sick today and she was sick a month ago. Like, so what do you want? Like, do you want us, if Tina's got a cancellation, we'll put you on the cancellation list. Otherwise she'll see you in 2 weeks. And that's how we handle that. So, just be aware of who you're doing this to and kind of try to spread it out amongst all of your clients, or at least the ones that are flexible about that. And, in an ideal scenario, we never have to do this, right? Like that's the goal. And we're pretty good about that, especially now that we have like built-in fill-in time and times that we can push and reschedule. We build those into the week, which I would highly recommend that you guys too. So instead of canceling, you can just push, right? Or maybe you do that move out clean on Thursday and Friday so that you can do the regular clients today, right? Like you got to get creative every single day when you have to make schedule changes. However, it's just something that we want to make sure, this is going to happen. You are going to have to do this to clients, at some point. It just is what it is, unless you have like the most perfect situation in the world, which is probably not the case. So we just need to have a plan and be aware of who we're doing this to. And even if you want to leave a note on coming back to like why having a scheduling software is so valuable, because it's like we can put on Mrs. Johnson's client notes, rescheduled and or, canceled, whatever, August 14th. Do not do this again. Or like just even the note of like when it happened. So you're looking at all the clients, you're like, nope, not Miss Johnson, not Miss Smith. We just did that, right? So leave yourself notes. Don't put it all in your brain. So that is the next danger zone. Okay. 2 more danger zones. Last 2. Long-term clients feeling neglected and you putting way too much energy and attention on getting new folks in, and then kind of having a set it and forget it attitude to your long-term clients. So we need to continually show them, again, the value. So when you start having clients that have been with you for 4, 5, 6 years, even 1+ year, well, sometimes it's really easy just to take them for granted and be like, yeah, like we've had them, they're stuck around for a long time. They're people, and they can have different things occur where it's like, yeah, we're questioning if we want to keep a cleaner, or they're in a different season of life than when they first hired you. And if you're not continually doing things to showcase your value, or that you're paying attention to them, and most importantly, thanking them for their loyalty, they're not going to feel any particular urge to stick with you, right? And over time, every single one of your clients who get to that, 3, 4, 5 year mark, you've changed cleaners on them. Like it's almost impossible for you not to have, like it's very unlikely that that's the scenario. So say, we get in, we're 3 years into this client, we're not doing anything special for them or really like paying attention to them in any particular way. We changed the cleaners on them twice and they're just not feeling it anymore. They're kind of looking for a change. So it's like, we have to be really aware of our longest and most loyal clients and really call it out. Okay. And again, I know that this is like more work, but like this is the beauty and the power of the business that we're in, is building this really robust foundation of reoccurring revenue, right? And so we need to be aware, we need to be thinking, and we need to be paying attention to those clients. And that means continually doing check-ins, using the service rating feature in ZenMaid, reaching out to them, seeing how they're doing, asking your cleaners on a regular basis, like, hey, is any of your regular clients, does it seem like, did somebody have a baby? Did somebody graduate? Was there a wedding? Is there anything that we could send flowers to, or a little card or a note or something that we can call attention to say, hey, I see you and I really appreciate your business. And so for us, that will be, sending gifts or sending flowers on a regular basis, checking in with them, making sure that they're happy, asking them for feedback and ideas often is a really great thing. Doing client surveys, obviously doing things in the community just in general, it makes you look good to your regular clients, because it's like, hey, like your money is going towards us doing good things in our community. A lot of people, that's very important too. And then finally, really what I love about the anniversary feature that got released in ZenMaid this past 6 months, I've been using that heavily. So as I've mentioned, what I do, I know it's really bougie and extra, but clients are fucking loving it, is I record a Loom video. Loom is like a program that you can just, record videos on. It's really easy. And I actually have to do this like today because it's August 31st and I haven't done it for September yet because I've been procrastinating because there's so many to do. But it's worth it. It's worth the effort. So I record thank you videos in advance, and then we send them an email with the video thanking them for their loyalty. And so it's like a personalized thank you message from me, the owner, recognizing their loyalty and how much I appreciate them, and asking them, of course, for any feedback, like saying, if there's anything, as always, just let us know. I want this to continue to get better for you. And clients' response to this has been like amazing. They really, really love it. So maybe you don't have the ability to do that right now, right? Like the video thing, but could you call them up and say thank you? Could you send them a handwritten letter? Could you send them an email? Or, even like a discount, like saying, hey, like your next cleaning is going to be 25% off as a thank you for your loyalty. Like there's so many different ways that we can thank our clients for your loyalty. There's also gifting systems that I've seen, or programs where like, hey, you get to choose a gift worth $50 or whatever from this website. There's programs for that as well. I kind of like the more personal touch of knowing the client, or even having a gifting budget every single month. We're like, okay, every month I'm going to spend $100 on presents for some regular clients, right? Like, so the longer they're with us, they're in this roster, and I'm just going to keep track of it. Like all of these things really showcase loyalty and appreciation for our long-term clients, so that if they're looking at you and perhaps maybe they're like, well, I got a quote and they're cheaper, but these people know me and love me, and they do such a great job every single time. And they really just, they're checking in. I'm not willing to part with that great service and attentiveness. So like, this is how we stand out to our clients in the long run. So that even if a bright, shiny new cleaning company catches their eye, they're not going to leave, right? They're going to be married to us, because they're like, no, that harlot, she's not going to pull me away from my my loyalty to the cleaning company. So, okay. Anyways, not that your clients are having like affairs by going to another company, but that's what it feels like. They're breaking up with us, right? So that would be one that we really want to pay attention to. And then the final one that I want to highlight is going to be all related to kind of the technology you use and the communication that you put forth for your clients. So this is going to be things like billing and payment issues, or communication frustrations where your systems fail, right? Maybe they're like, every single time they try to pay their bill, there's an issue, or the invoice isn't correct, or it's not sent when they expect, or they never get the receipt and they always have to ask you, or, they said something to you and then it didn't get added to the notes. And so now the cleaner does not do what they said, like say they reach out to the office and they're like, hey, make sure, I know you don't usually clean my office, but go ahead and add that office cleaning on this time for whatever reason. And it doesn't happen. Like, either you forgot to put it in the notes or your cleaner didn't see it. Now, like, they're going to be really frustrated. I know that's kind of scope of work related, but a lot of that's a communication issue, in my opinion. So once we start disappointing or frustrating them with the administrative labor of working with your service, that's when people get annoyed, because it's like, this is supposed to make my life easier, and I'm really frustrated because it's actually just adding more to my to-do list. And of course, having a cleaning service, there's going to be some level of administrative labor, but how can we make that as easy as possible? Whether that's having the card on file or what have you, anything we can do and suggest to them or put into place from your side, like software and things like that, that is a convenience to both you and your client. And so making sure we're utilizing our softwares to the fullest, even the appointment reminders, the on my way texts that our cleaners send, like, they expect that now, and it's really something that they love and enjoy having with our service. Whereas if they work with another cleaner or another cleaning service, they are going to miss all of that kind of like technological ease and what that's like. And so for us, when we tried to switch payment processors a couple months ago, or not a couple months, I don't know, time blindness, man, ADHD. I don't remember when this was. I say a couple months. It was probably 2 years at this point. And we tried switching payment processors, and there was so many issues, and it was so frustrating because our clients were just running into so many errors when we would send them the bill. It was Stax, by the way, STAX. Do not use that payment processor. It was cheaper, and cheaper is not always better, especially with payment processors. Stick with Square or Stripe or QuickBooks. Anywho, so we tried to switch. It was administratively a bitch. And I got bars today, guys. I am rhyming. And so April, my payroll manager who does all of our accounts, like, she was on the phone and had to deal with so much customer service. So it sucked for us too. So all of that being said, that was like a prime danger zone for clients to drop because they were frustrated with dealing with our basically administrative inadequacies for whatever reason that was. It's like, how can we make this thing as seamless as possible? And this is why even things like, you may think like, okay, having them fill out a really extensive booking form in the first place, or having this kind of like robust intake process. Well, that may seem like it's an annoyance to your client, but actually what that allows us to do is literally show up and not pester them. We know where the garbage goes. We know how we're supposed to lock up. We know what the pets' names are. We know what the Wi-Fi password is so that we have service. We know, because we ask all of these things on the intake form, so that then, yes, it is kind of a bit of a legwork to get in with us. But then once you do, like, we're going to nail it. Enough said. We don't have to ask a bunch of questions to them because we don't want to be constantly pestering. Like, let's say we're at that first time clean, right? And we have to text them 7 times while they're at work. Like, where do you want the garbage to go? Where's this? What do you want us to do with that? Like all of these things, right? Or what did you say, room you didn't want us to clean? Like, that's annoying. That's really annoying. And you're actually making it aggravating to work with you. So if we can have that really great intake process so that we know all of these things and then give those notes to our cleaners so they can do their job well, then all of a sudden they didn't have to communicate with us at all during the day, maybe just like one question at most. And then they show up and it's beautiful. And then it's just that wow factor, right? And so that's what we're really trying to avoid, is just like frustrating them or being annoying. We don't want to communicate overly too, of like calling them every single time after every cleaning. Like, that's going to be annoying as well, but it's really more so in these high impact, like danger zones, that we do want to be communicating really effectively. Because I know guys, this is our world, right? Like, the business is everything to us. We are but a small little grain of sand to our clients. All right. The cleaning service is supposed to make their lives easier and not put more mental load on them, right? So even though we're like, oh my gosh, like all of this stuff, like this is our business and we're obsessed with it, the client isn't, nor should you expect them to. So like, we're trying to make it so they don't really have to think about it except in positive terms, right? So just keep that in mind, of like, don't take it personally when maybe a client doesn't respond as quickly as you would like or whatever. Obviously, again, we're working together and it is a business and we expect mutual respect on both sides. However, like, stop taking it so personally when the clients do not take your business as seriously as you do. Nobody's going to, right? Like, literally the only people who care as much are the people listening to this episode right now, right? Nobody else. So if that's the case, like, we just can't take it so personally. But yeah, those were the danger zones of losing clients that I could think of off the top. Is there anything that you guys can think of that you've lost clients over that you can leave in the comments for others, and what you learned from that and how we can avoid that in the future? I would love to hear any reason that you guys have lost a client. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. I've lost clients basically because of all of these things. Maybe not all of them, but most of them I've lost a client over. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. We just learn from it and we put things in place to hopefully avoid it in the future or know what to do when it does happen. So, all right, guys, we are now off of the highway to the danger zone.